Hi, everyone. Welcome to this session. Just a minute. So sorry. I will turn off the waiting room so that people can join directly and we can get started. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining early. My name is Shola, and it's exciting to have you all join us. We are going to start in another 30 seconds, about a minute, to just allow everyone to settle in, and we will be on our way. There's some bit of technical glitch in terms of, if you notice that some people have similar names. So I would advise, so that it's easy to identify us, if you do not mind, you have the option in the Zoom control to rename yourself. You have the option in the Zoom control to rename yourself. If you know how to, then please proceed and rename yourself. If you need help, just let me know or send me a message in the chat, and I'll be happy to help you do that. Just mention your name, or I don't know, maybe what your picture is, and we'll find a way to do that for you. So at the moment we have like multiple blessings, DTW. I'm sure we all want to be super educators like Blessing, so we're sharing that name already, which is exciting. We're going to meet Blessing in a bit. She's going to get us started and, of course, walk with us through this journey of becoming super users of PhET Sims, but also the effective pedagogies or methodologies that have proven effective in supporting student-centered classroom. I'm sure that many of us are also championing in our various classrooms now. Blessing, if you are set, we are good to go.
Okay, Shola, thank you so much. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for being on time, those here. So thank you. I apologize. I know for most of us that are in Lagos, it's raining. So if I put on my video, it might affect, it might take me off the internet. Okay. So please, I apologize, but just 1 minute. Let me show myself, please. Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome. Okay, welcome. I think let me just show myself for the first bit, just to introduce and all that. So welcome. So you're welcome to today's webinar on the introduction to STEM and PhET interactive simulation, how to enhance teaching with PhET. Okay, I am Blessing, Sheun Chukwuka, Yoruba, married to an Igbo man from the East. Okay, and I have here with me my colleagues, Rebecca. So sorry to wake you up, Rebecca. She's in the US, so quite very early. It's about 6 a.m. there now. So yeah, thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us. Okay. And thank you, Shola, also for joining us. All right. So just a brief introduction of everyone here, the team, the PhET team. Okay. As you've met Rebecca Vieira, she's the director of Global Initiative PhET from Colorado Boulder University. We also have her picture here, all right, which is she's here. We also have Zach. Zach is unfortunately unavailable today, but definitely in the PhET journey, you are definitely going to meet Zach, okay, because he's the PhET ambassador in Africa. All right, and here also we have Shola, is the PhET STEM specialist from Lagos, Nigeria, and I am Blessing Chukwuka, a PhET fellow from Nigeria, okay, and also the founder of DTW. All right, and we have some PhET fellows around Africa, which is an initiative that started last year, okay, to help PhET get to a lot of people. During the webinar, you're going to hear about how PhET has reached over 1 billion users, okay, across the globe. Yes, Africa being the least, all right, users across the globe. That's why there's a push for people, there's awareness going on for Africans to use it because it is working.
Blessing, we're missing you. Blessing, we're losing you now. I would suggest you turn off your video just to get past this.
Okay.
Sorry, it's raining heavily in Lagos, and I think
Okay, can you,
great.
can you hear
Apologies,
me
everyone.
clearly
It's
now?
raining everywhere across, okay, in most parts of Lagos, not everywhere, and internet might be affected.
Hello?
Here,
Hello? Can you hear me, Shola? Hello? Hello, Shola, can you hear me? Hello, Shola, can you hear me now?
Blessing, I can hear you clearly. I think it
Okay.
might be Shola who had a weak internet connection.
Okay,
So,
let me continue then. Okay, hold on, let me share my screen. So sorry, everyone. Okay, can you see my screen, Rebecca?
yes, we can.
Okay, so we have PhET fellows in Africa, 15 last year. There's another 15 this year also. Okay, and we are here to support PhET teaching in classes around Nigeria, around Africa, in Ghana, every part of Africa. We are here to support PhET, usage of PhET. Okay, so just a brief introduction of DTW Tutorials Foundation. Okay, we're the creators of DTW Tutorials, an educational channel on YouTube where we have over 50,000 subscribers. We have been supporting students in their maths, their sciences, physics, chemistry videos to help them pass their several exams. And also we have been doing several teaching trainings to help teachers teach STEM in their classes. Okay, so DTW Tutorials were here to ensure that teachers get their jobs done easily, okay, to help them integrate technology into their classrooms. That's what we're here. This is for, and this is a brief introduction of DTW Foundation. Okay, so I won't be able to do this icebreaker now. I have to show my face. I have to put on the video, but I might get the internet might disconnect, but I'll try to do this maybe at the end of towards the end of the webinar. Okay, and this icebreaker, let me just break it a bit. Okay, this is where you can learn how to teach kids how to get their times table with their fingers. Okay, so we're going to do that later on. Hello, Rebecca, can you still hear me? Are you here?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so
good.
Yeah, okay, so our objectives of this webinar, by the end of this session, we should be able to understand STEM and its relevance, also appreciate the importance of EdTech in the classroom for 21st century education. Okay, we've been saying 21st century education, I think from, is it from year, will I say year, 2001 or 2000, okay? But now there's AI. AI has come and has there's a massive how will I put it? What will I say AI has done? Rebecca, can you help me what AI has done to education and to almost every space now?
Oh, well, I mean, there's probably too much to say right here. I don't know if folks are familiar with, Chat GPT and all these wonderful things, but there's so many tools online now that will kind of be able to answer you kind of like a human, as if it was a human. And it's gone far beyond doing what a Google search can do. So PhET has not integrated that into our work yet, but I think it's something we all have to be aware of.
Yeah. So that's why the importance for us to continuously learn EdTech solutions, so we are not left behind. And it's all in our hands as educators. If we don't integrate technology into our classrooms, our students will fall behind. And apart from our students fall behind, it would also affect the nation, Nigeria, Africa. We also fall behind in development, in advancements. Okay, so that's why we are creating this awareness and, cajoling educators, especially STEM educators in Africa and Nigeria, to embrace technology. Okay, so also at the end of the session, we're going to be able to locate, interact with PhET simulations. We are going to also be able to implement a PhET simulation with our students, just a brief we're going to teach you a simple methodology here, which you can implement, okay? And, you know, if you want to really, really go deep into PhET, there's a course which is free, which we're going to discuss at the end of the webinar, which you can join and, you know, complete and get certified by PhET from the Colorado University in the United States. You can get certified by that university. So there's a course which we are going to discuss about during the end of this webinar, okay? And also, you're going to be able to find help and support for using PhET simulation. We are here to support you. So, why STEM? Why do we need it in Africa? Okay, 70% of the world's population is in Africa, and we all know it. Africa is behind in STEM. Every technology we are using here is all imported. Our export isn't that high, of technology isn't high. And why is that? It's because we haven't embraced STEM enough in our country and in our continent. So STEM education is a driver needed for economic performance, okay? For it fosters the economic growth of each country, all right? So if each country embraces it, Africa definitely would advance forward, okay? So that's why it is needed in Africa. And one of these tools, STEM tool, is PhET. So why do we need to teach and learn with technology? We can see this picture here of a teacher, you know, with a blackboard. Now we can see another picture here of students interacting with visual displays. So can someone quickly tell me which of this teaching method is better? You can drop it in the chat or you can raise your hands. Can someone quickly, you know, unmute your microphone and, you know, just make a short, is someone here that wanted to say which of this teaching method? Okay, I see someone. He said, Mr. Philip says the second, Mr. Abiodun says the second. Good, good. So technology is better. All right, so gone are the days. Even students will get bored with you on the blackboard because even from their homes, every of their parents have phones. So definitely they are already drawn to technology. So if we now they come to the classroom and it's only the board we are facing, they would get bored and will not want to listen to you. But once you bring multimedia, bring digital, you will see them, the engagement, the active learning would skyrocket, okay? So the second definitely is better. Thank you, Mr. Chizoba, David, and thank you, Amazing Queen, for your contribution. Okay, as you said, the second is better. Thank you. Okay, so now just a brief introduction of PhET interactive simulation and what does PhET mean? PhET means what? You can see the acronym means Physics Education Technology. And it was founded by, this is Mr. Is a Professor Carl Wayman, okay? He founded it in 2002, okay? He won the 2001 Nobel Prize in Physics. And this, will I say, good-hearted, because I got an opportunity to, you know, interact with Carl Wayman, and I asked him, why did you use all that money, Nobel Prize money, to set up PhET? And he was like, because the world needs it. He said, I think one thing that surprises me is, he said, he is comfortable with what he has. What does he want this other money to what does he want this other money for? Okay, that he wants an advancement in science and mathematics, and it wants it to touch everyone in the world. And these PhET simulations, they are free of charge online. The web sims are free. You don't pay anything. Okay, so he dropped down his Nobel Prize funds for the creation of PhET simulations. So now, the major goals of PhET simulation is to make STEM learning more engaging. So it's a game-like environment. You interact. As you interact, it responds immediately back to you. You're going to see several simulations, educational simulations that we are going to play with here. Okay, I always say play with, because with PhET simulation, you are playing and also learning. Okay, so it's relevant, it's connected to everyday life. Like for kids, there's a number play sims, you see, where kids can learn how to count with balls, with apples, and it's interactive. Wonderful. It's accessible, okay, and understandable. Simple terms used. Is effective in the practice used in STEM practices, and they have been proven results from research done using PhET. Okay, and Rebecca will take that on. Also, it's so personalized that students can easily own this learning. Okay, yes, it's the only students owning the lesson. The learning doesn't mean the teachers are not hands-on. The teachers are definitely hands-on to provide scaffolding for students to learn. But students can really go on these sims and own their learning. Okay, not too much support for them because it's easy for them to really go through and learn. Okay, providing the teacher has to provide your goals, learning outcome, and definitely some questions to direct the students on what to learn in a particular concept question in any topics or subjects like physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. Okay, so here, this is just a brief introduction of the PhET simulation. I would, Rebecca, is Shola around now?
Yes, Shola is back.
Okay, it's back. Okay, Shola?
Yeah.
Yes, you're to take over now.
Okay, sure. Do you mind?
Okay.
Do you want to stop sharing?
Yeah, I will do that now.
Okay, hi everyone. I will just walk us through. Thank you, Blessing, for that great introduction. Just for clarity, I know some of us might have questions. Please, you can drop them in the chat if you think you would forget, or just allow us introduce some of these components or the project to you, and we'll save enough time towards the end to answer the questions that you have. So please take note of all the questions, so just drop them in the chat and we will get back to them. So I'm going to walk us through what the website looks like for accessing the simulations. So of course, to get started, most of us go through a search engine. So you can go to Google and type PhET. Usually, if you type PhET, it's one of the first options you would always get. And the address is phet.colorado.edu. For those ones who remember that directly. So if you click on it, it takes you directly to the website, which is what it looks like. Of course, interactive simulation for science and math. You can click the button just above the screen to explore all the sims. We will get that, but you can find more information. You can see it's very popular. It's been used over 1 billion times. Simulations online have been delivered. I'm sure this is exclusive of offline use, and which I'm sure should be up to half of this, if not more. There are a wide array of tools or simulations to pick from as well, ranging from physics, chemistry, math, earth science, or geography, or astronomy, like some of us would know it, and then biology. There are teacher resources, which we will come to learn more about, which would allow us either take advantage of existing activities and guides that have been created by other teachers to accelerate our creation process. We also have the chance to create ours and then make it available for others to take advantage of them. So there are currently up to 163 interactive simulations in over 114 languages. Because this is a Nigerian focused session, of course, at the moment, the sims are also available in Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. So just think of students in rather remote communities and cities where English is not a strong suit. They are still able to learn and understand science. The goal is that their language and other challenges, perhaps, if they are, should not continue to be a barrier for them. So we are constantly exploring opportunities to break barriers and make the tool accessible. And like I mentioned, there are over 3,000 teacher-submitted lessons that you can take advantage of already. So to find the simulations, I showed that already. I will come back to the end of the page. So once you get to the website, you come to simulations at the top. You can either sort by subject groups based on what you teach, but because we have a mixed class, I'll go to all sims. And once I'm on the page, this is going to list all of the simulations that are available. So there are 105 that listed. Remember I mentioned that there are 160, but we'll get to that. So at the moment, 105 sim if I'm just interested in work, energy, and power, I can find related things that I can alignment with learning objectives for the class that we want to lead. Also have the option to sort by grade level. So if you're teaching at elementary school, I can just click what are the things that can help support the teaching of particular classes or objectives at that grade level. It quickly narrows that down. And of course, multiple grades from elementary, early childhood actually, because there are a couple of other very foundational maths sims that have also been published. Middle school, high school, which is like junior secondary school, then up onto university. Compatibility is what I mentioned. This is a bit technical, but like HTML5 is technically what you need. Java and Flash are a bit old technology that is now being replaced by HTML5. So if you focus on HTML5, you cannot get it wrong. So that's my recommendation. You don't need to spend time trying to figure out old tech because it's end of life already. So don't save that energy. We also include features to help students with special needs, or of course who have particular learning needs to help them, of course, make the most or leverage some of the things. So the sim can also voice sonification, where you get voice prompt, interactive display and description. So a couple of things that also help students with special needs take advantage of the sim have also been included. And finally, like I mentioned, you can also sort by language. If you go to the end, there's Yoruba, there's Igbo somewhere in the middle, and then Hausa should be just at the top. Finally, so once you come to the site, you go to Google, you type PhET, you get to the website, you've identified this, of course, you've identified the topic or sort or grade level that you're teaching, and you found a particular sim which you're going to look at. So I'm choosing one, number play, for example, and this is what the page looks like. So this is an image, a picture of what the sim looks like internally. We're going to explore that in a bit. If I click on the play button, then it's going to take me there, but I want to show you around before we get there. So just to the left, you can see the download button, the down facing arrow. So if you want to use it offline, so if you just have internet connectivity, perhaps at home or temporary time in school, you can see so that connectivity to access them again. If you have stable internet, you can use it online. If internet is unstable or non-existent, my recommendation is download and use. So if there fluctuate experience at the start of the meeting because of the may affect or impact on the experience, you can embed on either if you have a particular learning management system that your school use. You can add to Google Classroom easily by a single click, or you can share to many of the popular social platforms that we about the pictures different. The topic this can help teach numbers, quantities, and quality. We also have sample learning goals that you can help that you can check against some of the things that you can align or check against the learning goals that you have for your class, and in some details about the inclusive features and system requirements. I spoke about teacher resources. Is you'd notice now it is saying sign in. Two things to note here. It's possible to access and use all of the scenes creating a teacher account, but to have access to be able to view exclusive resources that are strictly for teachers that we do not expect students to have access, my advice is that you create an account so that you can sign in to view what we call the teacher tips that provides information about the scene, what the controls are, how to, a couple of other things that you'll find useful. So I would advise that you create an account before you view this. To create an account, you can click on the padlock button. If you have an account, just sign in. If you don't, you click on register. 3 page and you are done. So I have an existing account, so I won't go through that. So I will sign in quickly just to show you what to take advantage of, what you have access to if you have an account. So this is what the teacher tip looks like. It explains what each of the controls are. It compares the screen, all of the screens for a single how students have used or interacted with the sim that we think will be beneficial to know before you go ahead and teach. So you have all of that information in there. You also have the option to so your learning for what teachers use, and two screens. There's the compare and there's the lab. There's compare and lab. So on the first screen, change it to a butterfly. Just of the same thing. If you want number, count another number and then see or compare numbers. And like I said, multiple representation, you can have it displayed in words and numbers, what is greater, what is less. You can use boxes to represent or the number just of. So different scaffolds to just help you manage different level of the students that you're working with. I think this is enough about the sim now. And like I mentioned, that it would be good to just show a few more. I'll show 2 more sim around maybe a physics and a chemistry quickly, and I'll hand it back over to Blessing. Just at the top, this is my solar system still in development, not the best at this time. Let's see, collision lab is good. And for example, I know, just like I mentioned, to use the search feature, if you click on the top now, beside that humanoid icon, there's the search icon. If you search down and then search build for anything looking for. If you what you're looking for directly suggested, and I can click and it takes me directly to the sim. So that's the way to use the sim. No. And then the effect, the impact on both the charge and the mass number, and also the stability. If it's a stable, and then of course move to and then you have represented with symbols, and this as well as against just as again here this can introduce the net charge and mass number. Then here start introducing, once they understand the key foundational components concepts, they can then start at the net charge, how to represent that as well. And for collision lab, here you can look at momentum and velocity and see once there's a collision, how the impact of that. They can adjust the mass of the object, take measurement and all of that, a couple of other things. These are just 2. And we would have enough time to talk through this beyond this meeting. This is just a quick look at how to find the simulations, some of the example sims, and we'll talk about some methods and a few other things before the end of the meeting. So I'll hand it back over to Blessing now. Blessing, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
it's time for Rebecca. Are you ready?
Yes. I'm here, but I think you have the slide. I don't have any of the slides.
Okay. Let me send it to you now. Okay, you want me to share it, right?
It's up to you, whatever you prefer.
Okay, hold on.
I can do that, Blessing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shola.
So I spoke through so benefits now, Blessing.
So I want to actually take pause. I was curious to know who here has used a PhET simulation before. I saw one person, I think Abiodun said this is the first time you're aware of it and use it often. I've used Desmos often. That's fabulous. PhET simulations are a little bit different. As I was saying, tools there, and we try not to overlap. So I think the best teachers use many different tools, specifically developed so that students can interact with system variables, influence things based on concepts. So yeah, feel free to write in the chat if you've ever used a PhET simulation before. And I hope you've also been able to click on some of these links and do some exploring of the website yourself. So like I was saying, PhET simulations are all built around a particular concept or a particular learning objective. And Sholo, as he was sharing with you kind of some of those like resources, like the teachers, you can see what the learning objectives were in our. The thing I think is really powerful about simulation, not just replacing a laboratory experience that you're doing. You can use a PhET simulation to introduce concept, to understand, have them do homework. There's lots of different flexible reasons that you might use. Like everything extremely like calculus. A lot going on there that unless you have like a graphic, is very powerful. So lots of interactive videos. We also mentioned reduce cognitive load, and what I mean that can be very complex. Could be advocating to not do laboratories, but what I'm saying is like if you were to show a circuit and to build a circuit, actually see what you can see the electrons. I guess telling is that there is a lot of evidence. I think there's been something like almost 10,000 research studies that have been done around the world that show conceptually, if you were to have a student, let's say, build a circuit in the classroom versus have a student build a circuit in a simulation, conceptually, students who use the simulation understand more than the students who did something hands-on. Now I'm talking conceptually about how electrons flow, why light bulbs light up, why a light bulb might not light up. There's definitely value to doing laboratory activities, and I personally would suggest doing both, doing something hands-on if you can, and also doing a simulation. But the thing that I think we have to remember is that when we make things visual that are very abstract, like simulations do, we tend to see much greater learning. And on top of it, we tend to see, when we see differences, like initial differences in boys and girls' performance, and around the world, typically girls' performance is a little bit lower than boys' performance in math and science. Students use the PhET simulations. We see boys increase their understanding and girls substantially increase their understanding, so that boys and girls are achieving at about the same level. And that's not only true for conceptual understanding, that's also true about the students' attitudes towards math and science. They tend to like it more, probably because they understand it more, but also because they have more sense of agency. They can express themselves a little bit more, and their curiosity. Next slide, please. Thank you. And again, this is just another research study that was done PhET does its own research. We have our own researchers, but I think, it's notable that the vast majority of the research has been done outside of our team. And so it's people who don't necessarily have a bias towards PhET, right? But this is just another example of a question about teaching about waves. So teaching about waves can be difficult because, well, you've got an object that's moving. How do you stop a wave so you can measure how long the wave is or measure how fast it's going? In the real life, it's very hard to do that, but with a simulation, you can tend to learn with simulations. And one thing that I want to encourage you is when you use simulation, as a teacher, I know it can be a little to tell students, go ahead and play. Especially, I know some are worried, oh, are my students going to be out of control, going to do what they're supposed to be doing? But one thing we've found from our research is when we give students a simulation and do not give them any instructions other than to say, explore the simulation. What questions do you have? What are you curious about? What do you notice? When you give students 10 minutes, I would say 5 to 10 minutes of free exploration, not asking them any other questions than what I said, not asking them to click on certain buttons. When we just give them free time to explore, 80% of the time, we find out that they're talking with their friends about the things that are in the simulation. They're talking about the concepts that we want them to talk about. And what's notable about this is this means that students tend to be very motivated when they use a simulation. It's not quite a game, right? I think after this 10 to 15, 5 to 10 minutes, it's very important for a teacher to think about a simulation like lab equipment. It's important to think about the fact that a teacher needs to give students certain questions or some guidance in order to really go deep with it. But at the outset, give students as much liberty as you can, because one thing we found is if we give students directions immediately, they actually will explore much less than if we tell them, just explore everything. If you ask questions, it wouldn't have any lessons later. So the important thing is want students to know they're constructing. Students. Okay.
Make me a post or something, or just mute Uchendo's mic. Yes, it's filtering through.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's good now. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, Blessing. So because simulation students to ask questions, to be curious, one thing we find is if you have a very traditional classroom where perhaps the teacher is sharing all the information, students are being very quiet, the teacher is writing on the blackboard, the students are taking it in, but perhaps passively, what we find is when we give information, suddenly students being like the in the classroom. They start to explore ideas, they start inventing strategies. We can start to think about math and science as the process and not exclusively as a base of content knowledge, because we really want students to be able to do mathematics. It's not know it. Just knowing about math allows us to apply, but it doesn't allow us the same way. So we find that students tend to be the ones when we put simulations or show simulation. It's in a way research tells us is actually better for student learning. Next slide, please, Sheila. Thank you. And like I already mentioned, people look at a simulation, particularly teachers, I think, right? Because we often think about laboratory experiences. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I can just take the simulation and do this lab for the practical that I'm supposed to do. But I would strongly encourage everybody to think about how can you use a PhET simulation to get students interested in an idea for the first time at the start of a unit or start of a lesson. Of course, you can use the simulations to help show a visual aid as you give a presentation about a concept. you can have students work in, you know, if you have the devices for students to work in small groups, like if they bring their phones or if they have, you know, a computer that they can get around, you can have students do an actual activity or a lab in small groups. And then of course, you can also support students distance. So I don't know if you're doing this now, but you know, felt so distant. Oh, as a PhET simulation can even be sent via WhatsApp. You can just download the simulation and send it. And so you can ask your students, you know, 2 or 3 what we call challenge prompts, questions, tasks for them to do in the simulation, and then they can do it on their own. So it can be very powerful. Next, please, Shola. All these different here, but one thing I wanted to mention is PhET simulations are very strong on representations. So here you see we've got, you know, a blue box that represents, you know, some kind of a variable. We've got round white numbers that represent integers. We also have, you know, mathematical expressions. And then of course we can see the actual physical balancing, right? So and then if you look at the bottom of the simulation, there's also different screens that allow you to explore different concepts. So we try to scaffold things and to make things a little bit more complicated as we go. Next, please. And Shola, if you can close the microphone there. So just to kind of reinforce what I've already mentioned, PhET simulations are great for teaching content, like conceptually, but they're also even more powerful teaching problems, like having students make predictions, reasoning out their justifications. And then some of the things we don't think of sometimes are the skills that students build while explaining things to one another, working in small groups, planning how to do a scientific or a mathematical study of a concept, problem solving. And then again, as I mentioned, it can also help increase students' interest and love for math and science. Next, please. And many people use PhET simulations in a way to them with one another. So I've already mentioned but it's powerful into the ocean. And then if I go even deeper, how, you know, what causes forces? It's energy. So all of these in different ways. Here you might use what we call, which is students to make predictions, making them make choices. You could do an in-class activity, project it on the screen, or have students work in small groups. I'd also give them homework. So it's very, possible. Should I stop here, Blessing?
Expecting a connection.
Okay.
I think this is the points we go to. But would you like to just talk them through them?
Sure. You're back, yes?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, Shola, please just share. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, can I go on? Okay. So welcome back, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing PhET and its benefits. Okay. So here we're going to look at now the proper work, teaching with PhET simulations. Okay. So there are several methods. When you're teaching, is either it is more teacher control or more student control, but there's an in-between where PhET can now be introduced. And there are several methods, pedagogies that we can use to introduce PhET that will create a more balanced class, not just being lectures alone or just leaving kids with the activities and lab, but integrating both the teacher and students' activities. We can use a whole class inquiry method. Now, this method is used, because why this method was created, because of technology, or if we don't have like in Nigeria, some schools might just have only a projector that they can project in a class. All right. Students might not have devices that they can use to play, follow through the lectures. Okay, so whole class inquiry is used where the teacher would just project the same PhET simulation on a whiteboard and, teach with it. Okay, then we have interactive lecture demonstration where students have access. Maybe they go to the computer lab or a school that gives tablets. Okay, I know there are some schools that give tablets to each student or have laptops for each student. That we can use interactive lecture demonstration. And we also have concept questions. Concept questions are good for homework and assignments. Okay, you want to introduce a topic maybe the next day in class, maybe physics or chemistry concepts. You can send this sim, just like Rebecca said, you can send the link to your students and ask some challenge prompt questions to help them prepare for the class. Okay, so asking those questions, you must have sat down with the simulation to understand the simulation and understand where each key concept that you want the students to learn, okay, before you set up the assignment for them. All right, so these methods we can use in teaching with PhET sims, okay? Shola, you can go to the next slide. Are you with me? Okay, so now I'm going to drop this link to this simulation. It's called Energy Forms. And for 2 minutes, you are going to play with it. Let me drop the link to the simulation. So I want us to quickly open it. I'm dropping it now. Yeah, can everyone see the link? Rebecca,
Yes,
please can you help me? Okay, yeah. So please click on the simulation. You can view it on your phones or your laptop if you're connected. Anyone, PhET simulation, you can use your phones. You can also use your laptop. So click on that link. It will take you directly to the sim. Shola, do you want to share that? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're connected, can I see someone say I'm connected? I've gone to the link. I can see it. Can you just chat or maybe wave? Oh, you are connected. Good. Thank you, Philip. So while it's opening on Shola's system, so this is the same. So you go through it for 2 minutes. I'm connected, it's working. Good. Okay, so for 2 minutes, thank you, Uchendu Chidima. Play with it. And we are going to, like, just few people will just speak what they wonder, what do you wonder about the sim? What do you feel the sim can, what can you do with it? What is it teaching? You can go to instead of the intro, you can go to systems and play around with it. I'm on, okay, thank you, Abiodun. I'm on it. So you can go to systems, just play around with it. The girl riding the bicycle, several things. I'm on it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Abiodun Bola. Thank you, Vivian. I see you raised up your hand. Thank you. So to explore, what can we observe? What do we wonder about this sim? Does anyone want to speak? You can unmute yourself and speak. You can. Okay, Vivian, do you want to speak? You can unmute yourself, your microphone, and speak. What you observe when using the sim. Or let me give everyone some more time. Say yours isn't working. Did you click on the link? Just click on the link, then click play. Okay, it's almost 2 minutes and 1 more minute, and we'll just speak around what we discover, every discovery we have made about the sim. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Timmy. Amazing Queen, do you want to speak on this? Can we share? Can anyone share a discovery? Can anyone unmute and share?
Vivian's hand is raised. Vivian, please feel free to unmute.
Okay, Temi says it looks more real. The students can easily connect to the real world. Okay, great. You can, if you don't want to speak, you can still drop a chat in the chat box. Mr. Abiodun, beyond, what do you discover on this sim? What do you wonder?
Hi, Vivian. Please feel free to unmute and ask. I see your hand, your virtual hand is raised.
Okay, Mrs. Chidima, Mr. Philip, anyone want to speak? Or everyone quite shy to speak? Okay, someone says, I see that different energies are being converted. Good. Okay, someone want to speak? Please speak up.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can see in the simulation that energy is being converted. Energy is being converted, and the more the energy from the bike is being increased, then the more the heat is being generated to boil the water quickly.
Good. Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Abiodun. I see Mrs. Chidima says it is interactive and fun. The children will have fun doing it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Because of our time, I have to move forward. Okay, but you can see here with what Shola is displaying, you can see the E, which sounds, E, which is colored yellow. You can see is the energy from the sun, which is light. It drops on the solar panels and is converted to this E, which is in the blue color. That is what electrical, or okay. So it's converted to electrical. So with this sim, you can easily teach, kids don't really, when you tell them, okay, Mr. Chimeze said, I can see how the solar is being powered. Okay, Mrs. Vivian says, I can see energy changing from the solar energy being converted. It's fun. Yes. So you can see with this sim, it's easy for you to introduce and teach these topics. Conversion of energy from mechanical, if it was a girl riding the bicycle, from mechanical to electrical. If it's thermal, you also click it, students play and understand. They can easily relate with what? The real world. Okay, we just tell them this generator, this, that, and they themselves are trying to imagine. But with this, you've helped their imagination. And any question you ask them, they would easily understand this concept. Okay? So Shola, please, we have to move forward, please, because of time. There's a hands-on activity. Okay, we've done that. Just go to whole class inquiry quickly. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be taking you through some quick pedagogies that you can use in your class. All right. And there's also going to be a group, a Telegram group. We'll drop the link to the Telegram group where you can join to ask your questions. All right. If you maybe a Monday morning, you have a particular topic to teach, you can ask your question, oh, what sim can I use for this? All right. So, Shola, please, can you take me back to the screen? Look at the slide. Okay, so that group would also help you. All right, the links will be dropped in the video in the chat section, chat box. So whole class inquiry, one pedagogy that is effective for schools or schools that just have only projector, no devices for the students. Okay, so this first active learning strategy, it leverages on the exploratory nature of simulations. Okay, so it enforces on whole class discussion. All right, so a teacher can use this strategy to introduce a topic to help students to understand particular concepts. All right, thank you, Mr. Abiodun. He said this is a game changer for learning experience. It's hands-on and immersive. Thank you so much. So this is what whole class is for. The teacher can be able to use this strategy to introduce a topic. All right, shall I have the next slide? So during the whole class inquiry method, the teacher is responsible for guiding conversation flow between students, all right, engaging with the whole class. So students can engage in inquiry, even in a whole class discussion, in which the instructor is the only person controlling the simulation. So in this particular, in an environment where it's just a projector, you as a teacher will control the simulation. So you would ask some questions, all right, that would help the students navigate the scene, guess and predict what will happen. And you, as a teacher, would the one controlling the scene, you will perform that the students' prediction, and they will see what occurs. Okay, so it helps the whole class to be engaged. All right, so you test, this whole class inquiry involves, cause and effect relationship. If I do this, what happens? If you do this on the same, what would happen? All right, Shola, please, the next slide.
Do you see it now?
Yes, I can see it. So an example is, I will need to open the sim to DC. Can you open the DC? Can I open it? Can I share? Can I be the one to share that? So I control it myself.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, now, so this is a simple electric for, I know this is for physics, okay? So with this, you can teach students on electric circuits. So let's say I connect my wires. Even before students go into the lab, they can connect parallel and series connection. Are you with me? Can we all see this? They can connect two bulbs in parallel in series to determine, okay, what happens? Now, let me say I connect another I want to connect one in parallel, another bulb. And we see this. So you can ask students, now we've connected this in parallel. What's the brightness of the bulb? They would answer. If we connect another circuit in series, you have to, and this is a topic where if you're teaching series and parallel circuits, so you ask, what's the difference between the brightness of the bulb in a parallel circuit and in a series circuit? And they begin to, you've engaged the class, and they are seeing the difference. They are seeing, you can ask, what does this blue dot represent? Some will say, oh, teacher, is the flow of current, is the flow of voltage. You try to explain to them. Then you also ask, what's the difference between this flow, the flow of current, the voltage here, and that in this series circuit? Are you with me? So with this, you can engage the class, all right? The brightness of the bulb, you can also ask them, all right? So from here, let me quickly go to my slide here. Okay, so here, you can ask, what do the blue dots represent? What happens to the brightness of the first bulb after the second bulb has been connected to the circuit? They would answer and say, this is what I noticed. What are the difference between the circuit with one bulb light and the circuit with two bulb lights? From this picture here, the circuit with one bulb light is so bright, and here it's dimmer than this one, okay? So with this, you have engaged the students, and they would, when you just, when we go into class and explain this thing on the board and draw and just tell them, oh, a parallel circuit, even if you connect several bulbs, the voltage will still, the brightness of the bulb will still remain. So a series circuit, even when we connect several bulbs, the voltage, the brightness of the bulb will be dim. With this simulation, they can see it. And when you now tell them, this is why we use parallel connections in our household to wire, they will now understand, oh yes, this is why, because no matter how many bulb fans you connect in a parallel wires in your household, the brightness will still be the same throughout in that circuit. But if you use series, it would never be, okay? It will become dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. All right, so this is how you can apply whole class inquiry. If you just have a projector and you need students to understand this particular concept, you as a teacher, you have to go to the simulation yourself, do it this way, they see it on the board, and you ask them engaging, challenging prompt questions, and help them, direct them to understand this particular fundamental concept, understanding that they need to know of that topic. So this is one way to do this. Okay, now, Shola, are you still with me?
Hi, Blessing, I'm here.
Okay, I just want to know if I haven't gone, the internet hasn't gone off. Okay, so
yes, okay,
another, can you answer the chat, please? So another method we can use is interactive lecture demonstration. Okay, so where students have their own systems and laptops or tablets. So what you do is, whichever sim that you are giving them to, whichever topic that you want to explain to them in class, you give the sim, the link to them, they open it on their tablet. For the first 10 to 15 minutes, make sure they explore, just like what Rebecca emphasized. Let them explore, let them play with the simulation for the first 10 minutes. Let them record the discoveries they've made. Are you with me? So this is one tip tip they have to start with when using the interactive lecture demonstration, that's the ILD, that students having a simulation, the simulation by the individual simulation or in group. If you don't have enough systems, at least a maximum of 2 people or 3 people in a group can work. Okay, so here another thing you can also do is you use challenge prompt rather than asking them direct or specific instruction. Just like this particular simulation here on maths for quadratic equations. Okay, so rather than saying I'm going to open the sim soon. So direct questions can be, set the value of C to -2. What is the coordinate point of where the graph touched the y-axis? But rather than that, you can use this, okay? When you make the value of C -2 and then +2, what things do you notice happens to the graph? Now, let me go into the simulation now and show you something. Now, if I have math teachers here, all right, you would know that I think from 2001 on WIEC website itself. Okay, do I have time to check WIEC? Let me check, let me just quickly do this. E-learning. The chief examiner, let me show you something. Where's mathematics? Let's go for candidates. Let's start from 2017. Can we all see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. This is WIEC, and this is a report from the chief examiner. Look at the weaknesses of math students. If we have math teachers in class, one of the weaknesses is this, is graphs. Look at it, reading and answering questions from graphs, especially quadratic graph. Now, this is for 2017. Let me go to 20. I would show you, this is one of the reasons I'm going to show you why PhET simulation is quite important. And also can help students. This is for 2018. Look at this again. One of the weaknesses, graphical solutions to quadratic equations and reading from graph. Even when you go to 2019, also the same thing. One thing you will notice, I have math teachers here, students don't know when you're given a particular quadratic equation and you're told in WIEC to graph. Students don't know what the shape of the graph should be. There are certain indicators from your equation that will tell you if the graph should be U or the graph should be N. Okay? For instance, if we do this, do you see? If we change the value of A, if this A here, the coefficient here of X, our variable X squared, if A is positive, our graph will be U. If A comes down to become negative, this is a negative 0.32, your graph will be N. So these are certain indicators, and you can use this to help students, to teach them quadratic equations. If maybe, WIEC is around the corner, this simulation will help students understand, because you see students out of the hall from their maths exam, and someone is asking, what is the shape of your graph? This one will say U, this one will say N, this one will say, but if your students understand these concepts when you're teaching them, before even getting their table of values, they should know how their graph should be shaped, right from the equation given by WIEC. If A is negative, they should know that the shape of the graph should be N. If it is positive, they should also know that the shape of the graph should be what? U. So this you can use. Are you getting me? Creating challenge prompts, like from our challenge prompts here, where we say, when you make the value of C -2 and then +2, what things do you notice happen to the graph? Now let's go to the graph. Let us make the value of C, which is our constant. When it is +2, you can see it's still on the y-axis. When it comes down, negative, it is still on the y-axis. So what does this tell us? It tells us that C is what? The y-intercept. My math teachers, are you with me? So with this, you can teach them key topics, key terms in your quadratic equations. All right? So very key. You can use this, okay, to teach your students. All right, by creating good challenge prompt questions that would help them and guide them. All right. Another pedagogy that we can use here is interactive concept questions. Now, you can use this to give students assignments. For example, here, you can send this simulation, the link to them. All right, like just put a picture, send the sim, and now give them an instruction. If we decrease, then increase the battery voltage. How does this change the current and resistance through the circuit? So they go home and they play around with it, and you have given them options. Are you getting me? To tick form. So when they do this and play around with this sim, they can now, answer. And when you get into class the next day, it is easy for you to pick it up. It's easy for you to introduce the topic because they'll tell you, teacher, when I increase the battery voltage, this is what happened to the resistance. When I did this, this is what happens to current. And from there, you take it on. Okay, so these are the 3 techniques that you can use in enhancing STEM teaching in your classroom. By God's grace, I've been able to touch, physics. I've been able to touch maths. Now, we are going to, that's why I want you to have enough time. I'm going to give you 20 minutes. Okay? Now it is your turn. I'm going to give you 20 minutes. Are you with me? I'm going to give you 20 minutes. So we're going to have maths, science teachers, and we're going to have maths teachers. Shola, please, can you share the links for state of matter simulation and number play simulation? So science teachers, you go to state of matter simulation. You are going to play around it. At least take out, what you are a teacher. So you know what you want your students to understand, whichever concept you want them to understand. I picked a very easy simulation, state of matter that's changed between liquid, solid, and gas. I'm going to show you the simulation here now. Let me show you. This is state of matter. Shola will share the link. So science students, you work on state of matter. Math students, you will work on number play.
My internet teacher.
Come again?
I said you meant teachers. I was kidding. You said maths. You said maths and physics students.
Oh, sorry, my educators. Maths and physics teachers. Okay, you work on state of matter. State of matter is done by both chemistry, physics, biology. You touch state of matter. Then maths, you work on number play. So you bring up questions from that scene that can help students in learning a particular concept or understanding or objective or goal that you want them to learn. Okay. Well, have you dropped the links, please?
Sorry, just a minute. I had just a minute.
So this is state of matter.
Yes,
you can see this. You've dropped it.
Yes.
And also number play.
Yes, drop number play and state of matter. So you can look at, you can click, you find the link in the chat now. You can just click and take you directly to the simulation.
So we can all find the links. So this is 12:23. So in the next 20 minutes, okay, each individual, you're going to like go through the sim, play around with it, and develop challenge prompt questions. I'm going to give you some examples soon. Let me just look at this. Let me just show you around the sims, how you can play around the simulation. Okay. So here you have, this is solid, this is liquid, this is gas. Are you with me? For those with state of matter science students, when you click here, the particles here are solid. When you click here, the particles here are liquid. When you click here, the particles here are gaseous, okay? So here, when you increase the heat, you realize what's happening. All right, it's changing states. When you lower the heat, makes it cool, see what's also happening. All right, so explore. And for number play, that's for maths. I just picked something easy for everyone. All right, here, students can count. You explore, then see how you can teach students with this sim. Now, so these are examples of challenge prompt questions. All right, related to several simulations. I didn't pick any one for your own simulation, so you can try to bring up questions. Even if it's one question you can bring up from your simulation that you can ask your students. So in 20 minutes, let's all go through it. Hello, Shala.
Hi, Blessing.
You think we should do a breakout and help them through? Just two breakout rooms. It will help, right?
We can do that. You had questions about connectivity and drop-off.
Yeah, just two breakout rooms. Okay, so we're going to create two breakout rooms. So science teachers, you go to state of matter, okay, room, and math teachers, number play. So math teachers, you stay with me. Shola, you can handle state of matter with science teachers, right?
Okay.
When you create the room, let me know. So we tell, let them know how to navigate.
Sure. So the rooms are open now.
Okay, so we're going to see rooms. So what did you call the rooms?
So number play and state of matter. If you look towards the lower part of your screen, you should see the option to join a breakout. So there's breakout room, click on it, and you can then join the appropriate group. But if you need help, if you just unmute and tell me what group you'd love to join, if you're having troubles, then I'll be able to just help you. Take you to the group. So thanks. I see people joining number play already.
Shola, can you do the breakout to be 20 minutes? It's just 5 minutes there.
Okay, we can
hello everyone and welcome to number play. You can unmute, we can speak here freely. Hello everyone. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma. Okay, so have you opened the SIM, the number play SIM?
No, please, can you share the link here?
Okay, I will. Yeah, I've shared it. Have you seen it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, please open it. Yeah. Okay, welcome everyone. Okay, so I have shared the link to number play. Okay, so this is a good one for, elementary maths. Okay, so I will give you 5 minutes to explore the SIM. I have dropped the link to the simulation in the video description, in the chat box. I mean, I keep on saying video description box. I'm sorry. Oh, that's... Have we all opened the SIM? If you're having any problem opening the SIM, let me know. I would, yeah, Shakira, I've sent the SIM again. So you can open it. I can't find. Abdul Latif, which of the SIM do you need? Are you in the maths group? Let me check. Yes, you are. I've sent the SIM, the link. Okay. Okay, you've seen it. All right. Okay, you've seen it. Okay. So I'll leave it for 5 minutes. Just explore the SIM and see what it does. Now, this is for counting to 20. What can you tell kids to do with this SIM? What particular questions can you bring up that would help them learn in your classroom? How many elementary teachers do we have here? Do we have any elementary or primary school teachers here now? Okay, Shakira, okay, good. Okay, so you will definitely be more familiar with this SIM and see several uses to it. Even advanced teachers, let's say you have a student that is finding it difficult, upper basic. Yeah, Abdul Latif, you can still also use this. Maybe any child they just brought from maybe the village to the town, to Lagos or to your township to learn, and maybe he hasn't passed through school, but he has to be in your class JSS1 or 2, okay? And he still doesn't know his numbers. This can also help. Hello, if you're just joining, the link to the maths group, to the maths SIM is in the chat box. I'm going to drop again because I see some people just joined. So that's the link. So we're exploring it. So now we are done exploring. Okay, can someone tell me what they notice about the SIM? What you wonder about the SIM? Can someone unmute and talk and speak? And what you can do? What do you think you can do with this SIM? What can you teach with this SIM? Can someone speak? Confidence, do you want to speak? Please, can I have somebody, please? I don't want to be the only one talking. Can someone speak, please?
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you,
Yeah,
Shakira.
yeah, what after exploring this simulation, this simulation here about number play can be used to the analysis specifically on learning numbers from 1 to infinity. Let me just say that. Now, the use of objects like apple, the use of apple, baby, can be used to learn how many apples are there? 3, 1. Okay, can you add 1 plus 1? By the time they add 1 plus another 1, it will show up here that has become 2 apples.
Yeah.
3 apples, 4
Yes.
apples. So mainly it will help the pupils to learn that combinations of various objects will add up together. By the time you remove 1 apple from there, the numbers of apple is going to
Reduce.
be deducted from the 1 there. So
Yes.
it's just like a playway method of helping pupils to learn and become familiar with numbers.
Oh,
That is
great.
what I noticed.
Thank you. So I'm sure you would use this sim to teach in your class, right?
Though, the use of this simulation requires having a tab and everything, because using it where these facilities are not on ground may not be effective, because not all the people are going to have it, and not all schools is going to have this internet and everything like that. So, that is Nigerian school specifically. To use this thing is not really the problem, but those hindrances is really affecting the integration of ICT in the classroom.
Well, in your school, in your class, do you have like a projector? Shola, do you want to say something?
Interactive board. I'm taking the upper basic, the grade
Okay.
4 and 5 mathematics. We have the IQ board, and I've been trying to look at the way I can integrate the use of this IQ board in the teaching of mathematics. But the last time I used it, I used the Microsoft Word on it. There is a keyboard that you can as well write on the board, draw anything you want to draw in form of apple or anything. You can play video on it. That is what I've been able to use to teach my pupils so far. But I've not been able to use this, and I've been thinking of a way to integrate it. But because they don't have data facilities within the classroom, they actually limited that because of the teachers is distracting them and the rest like that from concentrating in the class. So they off the data facility within the classroom. But the use of that interactive board is really helping my pupils in the class.
Okay.
Because I play video while in class, we learn through other teachers and on a particular topic in mathematics as well. So, this one is going to need internet facility.
No, it's not. You can download this.
And there's an app for it.
Shola, can you talk, please?
Yeah, so she mentioned that earlier, and that's what I was going to stop. I didn't want to stop her copy. So all of this is accessible. You can download all of the sims or download just one and use without the internet. You just need to download on the internet ones, and you can put on USB sticks, share via WhatsApp, send via sender, whatever channel, whatever venue works best. I also wanted to add that it is possible that I don't know what the tool that you're using it is, but you can embed the sim into Microsoft Word and PowerPoint as well, so that you don't need to go to the website directly. So there are different options that you can walk around and ensure that you within the technology that you have, you can use it. I'm not sure what time you joined. Blessing was also trying to explain that there are different ways. Like, as much as the best scenario is for all students to have a tab and make these changes themselves, we know that's still like an ideal or something we would love, but it's not the current reality. And it's not a Nigerian problem, actually. It's a global problem. It happens everywhere. But you can use this as a demonstration tool. Instead of students counting, if you just have one in the front of the class, students are still able to see and interact and see what happens. It's still better than just telling them, even though it's like different part of a continuum. The most ideal and perfect state is students try out themselves. But if you move them from just telling or lecture style to demonstrating it with this tool, that's still like some step forward, and it's easier for them to begin we are helping them frame their conceptual understanding of these things. If you tell them, you're expecting them to construct in their head without any rails or scaffold or support. But this can ensure that there are no misconceptions, and as much as possible, they are making sense of what you are saying. But the best state is if they then do it. But even assignment, so there are different scenarios. They can take it at home. You can show it in front of the class. They can do it themselves, and there's no wrong or right way to use it. Just look at the context that you have, the constraint or the opportunities that exist, and then find the best way to make the most of such tools. The amazing thing is it's free, as in it does not come at any cost. So I think it's important that we find ways to do it.
Thank you so much. I've understood now. This can be downloaded.
Okay, great. Blessing, I think I would love to save some more time. We're past the 20 minutes mark now.
We can. Can you
So you can
take
wrap
us
up
back? Can you take us back to the main room?
Yeah, if you can wrap up in another 2, you can wrap up in another 2 minutes. I'll just go to the other group and let them know. Then I'll bring everyone back to the main room.
Okay, no problem. All right, thank you, Shola. Thank you so much. Okay, so as Shola leaves, so with this, let me just show you some things that we can do. Even if you teach upper basic, but you have your kids. I have kids that a 3-year-old, okay? She comes here, I give her this game, and she comes here and counts. So what happens is this doesn't only just teach you numbers, it teaches the child also words. You reduce, you tell the child, when you reduce 1, what happens? How many balls do you have? How many ones do you have? They say, oh, 1, 2. You can tell them spell 2. And you see, they say TWO, 2. Okay. Or someone raise their hand. You can speak, please. Myra.
Myra. Good afternoon.
I'm so sorry. Good afternoon. Please speak.
So I really want to appreciate this. This is beautiful. And I wanted to share some of the things I would use this to teach in my class. I can addition with this. I can teach subtraction. I can teach number sentences. I can teach other names, like you mentioned. I can even teach equivalent fractions with this. And I can also multiplication. The number frame is so important of students in math, and it's beautiful. And I love that it brings in physical objects and also moves to numbers. So I think it's a fantastic tool. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going back to the main group in about 31 seconds. Okay, so you can see it's free. It doesn't need internet. All you just need to do is connect to the internet once, download it. It's about 1 MB or 2 MB, not heavy on your system. It just works on a Chrome browser without the internet. Okay, and you can use your projector. And, one student at a time that's for classes that don't use tablets or have other devices, come to play around with the simulation.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope we had a really engaging conversation in the breakout. So, Blessing, we should, I don't know, any other thing before we switch to question and answer? I think this would be a good time to hear from everyone, questions, clarification.
Yeah. Okay, before questions, so let me just quickly say some things before questions come in. 1 minute. So please do join the Telegram group, and also we are going to send, if you're interested, Shola. Hello.
Yes, Blessing, you're breaking up, but I hear you.
Okay, sorry. There's a Telegram group for more support on PhET. Okay, we know this is just an introduction. We don't want to bombard you so much. Okay, so there's a Telegram group where you can ask me questions. We're here to support you. I will drop the link of the Telegram group in the chat box. Also, we're going to, if you're interested in the PhET certified virtual workshop on Coursera, okay, it's free. All right, and it's after you complete this course, you would be issued a certificate from the University of Colorado. Okay, so that's where PhET is under. So you're going to be receive that certificate after you finish this virtual workshop. Okay, so if you're interested, even if you're not interested, I'm still going to send you a mail to it. Shola, please, can you speak about the course in few minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, please?
Okay, thank you. So you will get an invitation to the course. Just, I think I see someone sharing again. So today, like we've had just 2 hours and you can see there's so much to cover. So today was just to give you a sense of what to expect and how you can find this tool, or how this tool can supercharge your class, both in terms of the experience of your student, but most importantly, make you a more effective teacher that is achieving outstanding results. So the course that you get an invitation to is meant to take you on a more deeper dive into the different components, how to navigate and find the seams, how to design activities, the methods and the methodologies to consider, and designing, of course, activity. A couple of things that are important, embedding in PowerPoint and some of the things that we mentioned in the different groups in different ways. So this would ensure like you understand at breadth and at length the different components that you should know about PhET Sims. What I would advise at first is ensure that you join the Telegram group so that you continue with the chain and you stay in touch with the community, myself, Rebecca, and Blessing, and of course any member of the team. Expect an invitation by Monday. By Monday you should have an invitation to the course. And if you are within the Telegram group, you will get details in terms of if you have questions, then someone definitely will be available to guide and answer any other question as well. The last thing I would say is there are 2 ways to join the group and to join the course. You can go directly to the, I've not even shared, so I'll just hold that back. Let me know. So you get an invitation to the course, so I don't confuse everyone. Expect an invitation to the course on Monday and we'll take it from there. All you have to do now is to join the Telegram group. You get the invitation via email on Monday and we'll continue the conversation from there.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Shola. So
yeah,
if we have any other questions.
Go ahead.
Yes, we have 10 minutes. Yeah. So I'm open the floor for questions now. So any question you want to ask now, please do ask. Okay, I can see confidence. Please speak.
Can you hear me, please, ma'am?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you.
So Mr. Shola spoke about how we can integrate the simulation into maybe a soft Microsoft Word for maybe virtual teaching. So I was particularly interested in how we can enhance or use this for virtual teaching.
Yes, there are different ways. Like, of
maybe
course,
if you're not in physical proximity with teaching.
Okay, thanks, Confidence. Like our interaction today can be likened to a virtual teaching. And one way is to just share the link directly. But if you have a learning management system, if you go directly to the website, let me see if I can find that. So there are different options. I will quickly share
let me stop.
On the wrong, just a minute. So there are different ways you can, if you go to the website, what I shared earlier on, you have a link that you can copy and put in your learning management systems, and students can use it directly.
Share your screen, Shola. You can share.
Yeah, I'm coming up with it. So here, like once you go to the website and you search out a sim, or you find one that aligns with the objective you want to achieve in the class, you can go just under the title, State of Matter Basics. The first icon allows you to download and use for offline as in scenarios. Then the next one is embed. If I click on embed, I can copy this iframe and then put into any learning management system of choice. This would work easily. And if I go to the top, the same way you type, you should be able to see the screen. In the address bar of the browser, I can also copy the link directly and then paste. So it depends at times on the technology you are using and what it allows. Some of them will say, just copy the website and it will sort it out. Some will say, copy the iframe and sort it out. Some will have you download and embed and upload directly to the page. So there are different ways. And there's also a PowerPoint plugin that allows you to use it. So it's just understanding like the options and then whatever scenario you find yourself, knowing how to use it. And which is why the Coursera course also is helpful because it takes you at length to understand many of these options and combination you have.
Wow. I'm impressed. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. We still have some time for more questions. This is a great time. If there are no questions, I don't know, maybe I would love to know what you feel about the tool that you've gotten introduced to, and why you would not be using it in your classroom. We always love to respect people's time, so we will be stopping like on top of the hour.
Okay, sir. Since maybe other persons are thinking, can I still ask?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I was like, how do they now make money? Since I am perceiving that this is totally free, so I was like, how do they get a value in return? Like, because it's an interesting website or app, so to say.
Okay, great. Thanks. As in, good question, but it kind of out of it. First thing is, I think at the beginning of the meeting, like Blessing did explain how the project was birthed. It was birthed by a Nobel laureate that seeded his grant money, of course, the prize money from winning the Nobel laureate, to accelerating and getting the project off the mark. But at the moment, of course, we rely on donors as in support to continue to develop SIMs and make them always available for free. So the goal is for teachers and students, the SIM as much as possible will continue to be free, and you do not have to worry about the monetary component. Let PhET get let PhET continue to figure that out and continue to release new simulations to continue to support this goal.
Okay. So it's more like a non-profit.
Yes, it is a not-for-profit.
Okay.
Not-for-profit, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This is mind blowing. Anyway, so it's for free. Why won't we? In fact, I'm going to publicize to all my science teacher once I get to school month. Even right from now, when we put it on our platform so that all of them can log in and then we can begin to do exploit with it. In fact, this is massive.
Wow. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the feedback. Any thoughts? So question is, why would you or why would you not use it? Like some might would also think, oh, I don't have enough laptops. I don't have computers in my classroom. I only have one. And like Blessing earlier mentioned, there are different scenarios. So my advice always is, do not wait till all your students have devices in their hands to use it, as much as that's like the best scenario where students basically are actively involved and engaged in the process. But it's still a very big shift if you use it as a demonstration tool, if you have a projector in your class, or you have a tab where you have 2-3 students at most share and then interact with that. Or I've seen schools where they have tabs that they move between classes. So if you're going to use it, you have to book like on this day at this time, and you're going to need 20 tabs, and it is allocated and it's used. It's not assigned to a class, but it's shared across based on it. So there are different scenarios. So first thing is, in spite of whatever scenario that you have, limited devices, there's always one way. Either we've seen teachers use it as an assignment where they share with parents, or use their own personal device just to demonstrate or show. I'm sure there's at least one, if not more, ways that you can try out. And trying it out is one way to get started and making sense of this tool. So my recommendation is give it a first shot. Bring your questions or request whatever clarification you need back to the Telegram group. And I think that's the easiest and best way to get the conversation or get this journey started. And of course, along the way, you continue to learn more and grow on that path. We have 2 more minutes and we have...
Okay. Can I come in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the Coursera course you mentioned, how many weeks is it going to run? Then after which we are done with it, is there still going to be some support system so that we'll try to be getting the updates as in things are evolving?
Yes, there's always a support system. Like Blessing and I are based in Nigeria, so we are always available. Like we're within your time zone. So we're always, Rebecca is based in the US, and maybe the time might be not is different. you will continue to get support. For the Coursera course, you can take it at your pace. So the first, they're like, I think it's a specialization with four courses, and the first one might take between 2 to 3 weeks, but you can, and maybe a few hours, you take it at your own pace and time. You do not have to go at pace with everyone, as much as we encourage that you stay consistent. If you allocate a few hours every day or every week, you'll be doing really well in completing and making progress with the course. Consistency over the duration is more what I recommend in that regard.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And also if you have let's say a large group of teachers, maybe like early childhood educators, science teachers, a large group of people, we can organize physical trainings. Okay, yes, the training would be free, but if you can provide the logistics, the events, and for logistics for definitely the facilitator, with which I am in Nigeria, Lagos. Okay, we can come maybe during the holiday. The long break is already around the corner. You have a week for teacher development. We can come and break down the full course for those group of teachers, and at the end they would be certified too. So if anyone has that group, we can work on that. You can always contact me via a Telegram group.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
I think we're on top of the hour. We just have maybe a second.
One question. There's a question from Myra.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. So my question is the training. I'm an online teacher. So I want to know if the training can be done for online teachers.
By training, it depends. When you say such a training such as this, right?
No. She said that she can do a physical training for those that are in physical schools. So can training for online teachers?
Yes, it's something like this, something like the one we are in.
Something like what we are doing, but also they can also join if you invite them to the group on Telegram. They can all, because the course is not started yet, they can see this recording, and then they have the chance to be part of the Coursera course as well, that closed group that you can be part of. If they join in early, they can get started. If they miss this cohort, then they would have to wait for another cohort to get started with.
Okay, fantastic. So my second question is, I can send this link to my students online, and they don't need to register. They can just access the simulation and work with it from their end, right?
Yes. I think you have a few questions, Myra. We're on top of the hour, and it is cultural. It's important to us that we respect everyone's time.
Okay,
so we want to officially close the meeting, but then I would stay back. Blessing will be available as well to answer questions that we might have. I know some people would have to join or they have other commitments, so we don't want to keep anyone longer. So just the question, we'll come back to it in a second, and I'll just let Blessing close the meeting. Thank everyone, and we'll come back to you.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us, for being committed 2 hours. I see strong 12 participants being here 2 hours. So thank you so much. It shows your zeal, your desire to push this country forward. Education is the key. Even if, yes, our leaders are looking down on it, it's still the key to the future of our country, Nigeria. So I thank you so much for your passion. It's not just for your own self. It's actually for the children, the kids, the students, the youth under you. That's why you've stayed this long. So thank you so much from PhET and also from DTW tutorials. All right, thank you. And on the group, any questions you have, just make sure, feel free, drop them. We're going to drop the link. You can share to other teachers to quickly join, okay? Because the virtual course will start on Monday. And if you have large group of people, we can also organize physical on-ground courses for them, to training for them. All right, but if individual, virtual would also suit well for you at your own time and pace. Okay, so we are still connected. This is not goodbye. In fact, it's just the beginning to take STEM education further to a higher level in our country. So thank you and stay blessed.
Okay,
But please
great. Thanks,
drop the link to the virtual training in the chat.
It will be dropped in the group, okay? Because we have to create it for everyone, all right? So by Monday, all the links will be sent to your email and also on the Telegram group, okay? So just stay connected on the Telegram group. Thank you, Confidence.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone. We've come to the
appreciate.
end. And if you have questions, you can stay back. We'll be happy to answer anyone else. But if you drop off now, you're not missing on anything. Thank you and see you in the group.
Well, we have to answer Myra question. Yeah.
Yeah, Myra, can you go over the question? You spoke about working with virtual teachers. You had a second question as well. Can you please say that again?
Yes, I was asking how if I send, like if I'm having a class on number and I send the link to the simulation to my student at the other end, would they need to sign off or can they access the simulation and work with it?
Yes. So for students, they do not have to create any sign-in. Nothing is required. Even for you as teachers, like you can use the same without creating an account. But then if you create an account, then you understand a lot more, like the controls, how things work, how you can hide, like some of the things you saw that they had one or two or three screens in some cases.
Yeah.
If you think a second, like there are times the last screen can be a game, and
yes,
it can be distracting at times to students based on their age. So if you think that would be distracting, you can say, you can customize the link and show only a particular screen in a particular time. So to understand those things is more taking it a little higher, and you need to create an account to access resources that is only exclusively designed for teachers.
Okay.
So if you haven't, and also that means you can get updates and information in terms of opportunities and other things that will come up. So again, you can use the same without commitment. You don't need to create an account, but then to access teacher-only information, to join the mailing list and receive information around opportunities that become available, or just understand in terms of when new simulations become available, then I strongly recommend that you create an account and join the larger community.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So it looks like we are at the end. If there are no more questions, and I think we'll call it a day here, unless anyone has.
Yes, I have something to add.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Was the link shared?
The link to the course, right?
To register, no, to register. For registration, you know, this is just like an app that you have to log in, you have to register before you can have access to all these things that we did now.
No, actually not. So you can, you can check the link now. I think first thing is to join the Telegram group. That's the only link you need.
Yeah, I'm already there.
Okay, great. To use the simulations, you do not have to register.
Okay.
But to access teacher-only resources where you can look at activities that have been created, access the teacher tips and a couple of other things, then you need to create a teacher account.
Okay. So how do I create that teacher account? Yes, that's my question.
I can show you quickly. You go to the PhET website.
Okay.
And at the top right corner, you would see, I'm sharing my screen, just a minute. Do you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you see the website?
Yes. Okay. That's okay.
That's at the top right corner, you'll see this humanoid picture.
Yeah.
That's the last icon. If you click on it, it brings up this modal window where you can sign in, or just underneath you can click register if you do not have an account.
Okay.
So you click on register. You can follow. It's like a 3-page, very short form, and you can have access to all of the other things.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
I see you're enjoying your lunch. Have a good one.
You too, sir. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay, if there are no more questions, I think we'll call it a day now. Thank you so much for joining. Like Blessing said, it's not.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I have a question. Yeah, are we able to get the recording of this meeting?
Yes, Blessing is going to make it available and share to the group as well.
All right, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you for confidence.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I think every time I say bye, there's always a new question. So I'm going to say bye like 5 times so that I can get 5 questions.
Okay, sure. We can all do any questions that we have. We can drop it on the Telegram group. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Bye. See you in the group. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yes. Bye for now. Bye.